Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Bailey. Our campaign is Masks of Nyarlathotep. It was written by Larry DiTilio, Lynn Willis, Mike Mason, Lynn Hardy, Paul Fricker, and Scott Dorward, and it's available from Chaosium. Our game master is Morgan Llewellyn, and this is episode 12. Our recap will be given by Brian and Zane as their characters. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Guys?
February 20th, a month from the horrible happenings at the Juju house and Christopher's unfortunate passing. By coincidence, it is also the end of Hauser's mental treatment and the arrival of Christopher's best friend, Theodore Gracie. We received word that Theodore would arrive at 3 p.m. I elected to meet him and bring him up to speed, and was silently thanking my foresight to wear a tie, for at 4:58, a car pulled up to the front, and an immaculately dressed man stepped out. Hello, you must be Theodore Gracie. Sorry.
Gracie, yes.
I'm Frederick Chapman.
Ah, Mr. Chapman, yes. Christopher spoke very fondly of you. Yes.
Yes, we disagreed on a few things, primarily just the barn. I'm sure he's told you about that.
Yes. I know of all your adventures in Peru. Though Christopher was a very good friend of mine, I appreciate he can sometimes be a bit brash and do things without thinking.
He fit in well with our band of misfits.
Yes, I'm excited to meet you all. I obviously wish I was meeting you all in happier circumstances, but
certainly.
Yes.
Well, here, let's head up to the house. It's getting colder out here.
Of course.
So, when was the last time you had heard from him?
Last I received correspondence, you and him were actually driving up to Harvard, I believe it was. Was it Harvard?
Oh, okay. All right. Then much has transpired that you don't know of. Well, immediately after Harvard, Harvard came up very short. They didn't have the book or any idea where the book was.
Yes.
Our separate groups discovered the name of the cult, the particular sect.
Yes.
That's about it that happened there. Octavius managed to finagle a deal with the sister of the missing expedition person.
Erica. Erica
yes,
Carla.
Yes. Oh, good. Did you read that in the papers, or?
No, me and Erica have crossed paths in the past. Yes.
All right. Well, it would be good to have more character witnesses. Between you and me, I don't quite trust her, but so she's helped us. She actually sold Octavius a number of books from her brother's collection. They seem to be mostly occult in nature. I've perused them a little bit. Ghastly stuff. I'm quite glad I don't speak any French.
Well, for luck has it, I do speak French, and definitely would like to have a look through those books, if I may, at some point. Now,
I'm certain we'll have plenty of time.
I must ask, when I spoke to Ramsey over the phone, he wasn't able to give me much information as to how exactly Christopher passed. All he would tell me was that there was some involvement with a crooked police officer and a juju house.
Yes. Well, so we we scoped out the police precinct in Harlem, and Christopher, I'm not certain what he was thinking. It might have been a stroke of brilliance or just bad luck, but he flagged down a passing police officer and talked with him for a moment, and he talked his way inside. About an hour and a half later, excuse me, about an hour and a half later, Hauser and I noticed that, well, he wasn't exiting, he wasn't leaving. So we walked around the back and we noticed two detectives, one which very appropriately matched the description of Captain Robson, and some men wearing work uniforms loading a crate into a van.
I see.
We were unfortunately on foot, and this, I can't help but feel that if we had thrown a little bit of caution to the wind and flagged a cab and just had him follow him, we might have been able to save Chris. But I recognized the work uniforms as the belonging to the export company, and a quick logical leap that proved to be wrong. I assumed that they were taking the crate and Christopher to the harbor.
Ah, I see.
When
So you
when we
believed
discovered,
that
yes,
Christopher was in the crate and they were taking him to the shipping company. I see.
yes, I had read a few pulps, and I imagine my imagination got the better of me there. In hindsight, I would have wished the icy grasp of the harbor over his actual fate. When we noticed that the van wasn't at the harbor, we immediately went to the Juju house, and it was too late. They had unloaded the crate. We were outnumbered at the time, 2 versus 3. The element of surprise gone. So we called in for some backup. About an hour later, we were able to discuss. Were you informed of Detective Poole?
No, all I was told was that Christopher met his demise due the hands of a corrupt police officer who I'm assuming is this Captain Robson.
Yes.
And
yes, Robson.
there was an altercation between you and some cultists at the Juju house.
Well, an altercation is a slight understatement. But we discussed. Detective Poole is not part of the Harlem precinct, and he's, through all of our experience, a fine, upstanding law
He is
enforcement
untouched
agent.
by the corruption.
Yes,
I see.
as far as we can tell. But he gave us 2 options, which neither of which were any good, because Robson would get off scot-free and it would take more time. So instead we opted to act ourselves with the assistance of one of the friends of the person convicted for the murders. We managed to get his help, and he volunteered So the 5 of us assaulted the Juju house.
Mm.
We managed to imitate the secret knock, kick in the door. This the operator of the Juju house, Silas Nkwanye. He answered the door. We kicked in the door on his face, took him hostage,
Mm.
and then we fully realized, oh, the drumming. I can still hear it. There was a hatch in the floor, and coming up through the hatch was this god-awful drumming, louder than any gun I've fired. After some brief searching of the shop, we ventured down, and through a short hallway, a door opened into a chamber. In the chamber was a pit, surrounded by, well, some cultists, one of which was drumming, another which looked priestly, and some familiar faces. It seems the reporter that we had talked to was taken by the cult and killed, but she was moving around. There were several people like this. Some sort of living death. They were disemboweled and they attacked us.
Yes, what you're describing, we have a name for it in New Orleans. Some of the African American cultures, they refer to it as a zombie.
Well, we may have to adopt that term. They were quite different from Carisserie.
Yeah.
So
it seems you interrupted them in a ritual or a sacrifice of some kind.
Yes. We managed to shoot everything moving in the room, and, well, Hauser and Octavius and we ended up looking into the pit. I don't know if you, well, I don't know how much of this you will believe, but there was some near formless abomination in there that had many faces of people all screaming out in agony. And I believe what set Hauser into his state that he's currently, he should be free from now. He saw the face of your friend. Christopher appears to have been absorbed into this mass.
Poor Christopher. But it's
Yes.
not a fate that he deserved.
Certainly not.
What did you do with this abomination?
We burned it to the best of our ability, and then resealed the pit and got the hell out of there.
Good. His mother was asking for remains, but I think it's best we,
Yes.
bury an empty coffin. My valet, Slayton, is back in New Orleans, taking care of all the arrangements and ensuring that Christopher's mother is well taken care of and things. Once he is finished up, he will join me. Listen, I believe every word you've told me, and I'm more than willing to join you gentlemen on whatever it is we must do next. If you'll have me, obviously. I am not a especially strong man, but I have the skill set that I'm hoping I will be able to assist. Well, let me get my things to room and freshen up a bit. And I
Yes,
would like to.
I'll go gather everyone up and we can make introductions.
Yes, I would like to obviously see Hauser, make sure he's well, and I believe I have a few phone calls I must make. I will catch up with you soon. Thank you so much, Chapman, and thank you for everything you've done for Christopher. I assure you, I know Christopher well, and he would be very grateful for what you and your friends have done. Just to confirm, it was Captain Robson, you said.
Yes.
And what was the name of the shipping company that you recognized the uniforms?
Oh, it escapes me at the moment. I've got it written down in my journal. I'll tell you. At Emerson? Emerson Imports?
Emerson Imports.
Yes.
Yes. I've had dealings with them in the past. Thank you, Mr. Chapman. Yes. I will see you in a moment.
All right. So since the events at the Juju house, Octavius has been sequestering everybody at his rather large estate in Boston. During that time, he has been paying for private care for poor Hauser, who ever since that night had been having horrible dreams of that basement in the Juju house. Just seeing people with red headdresses everywhere, the hallucinations and lack of sleep. They decided to intervene, and by this time he's finished up his final sessions with the psychologist, leaving perhaps the more extravagant details of his plight to himself. But Hauser, can you give me a sanity check?
Sanity check. Right away. Okay, that is a fail. 88 out of my depleted. I was all the way down to 37, so 88 out of 37.
Okay, so your indefinite insanity will be cured, and you'll regain 1d6 sand points.
Alrighty. 3. So let's see, 37 up 3 to 40.
Okay.
Hauser, how are you doing this morning?
Pardon me. I'm terribly sorry. I was looking at luck. 19, 20, 25, 80, 25. So 55. So 55 up 3. So 58. Sorry about that.
Hauser, how are you doing today? All clear with the doctor?
Oh, so much better. Thank you. Thank you, Fox. I just needed some time.
It was important that we all stuck together through this. What you couldn't talk to the doctor about, you talked to us.
Thank you. I think I'm okay. I'm so sorry I couldn't keep it together like everyone else.
I feel like we've all recovered quite a bit. In fact, GM, did we all get sanity back?
So since you can all, well, that depends. How have you each spent the last month? If you have been busy working, that will change the amount that you've gotten back. If you've been concentrating on recovering yourself, then that changes a bit.
I have primarily been drinking.
Yeah, I think we've all been relaxing.
Okay. So if you all want to give me sand checks, except for Theo.
I would be, I suppose, relaxing whenever they tear me away from the books, but I would be perusing those.
Okay, so you've been reading the books.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're not going to regain any sanity. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay. Fail.
You've been reading a fail, so you'll get, say, 1d2 points back. If you pass your sand check, it's 1d4.
Oh, I passed.
I got 2.
I got 10. 1d4. 3. That's not bad.
Then all of you can make a recovery check for luck as well.
Hoping.
That's a fail,
Hoping.
that one.
Yeah, definite fail here. 67 out of my depleted all the way down to 37.
So yeah, so if you make a luck roll and you fail it, then you get 1d10.
1d10, yay, 1d10. Come on, something other than a 1 or 2. Woohoo! 10. All right. Well,
And skill checks.
In the time that we've spent recuperating, do I get my remaining 1 hit point back?
Yes.
I do.
And you can make improvement checks for all of these skills that you had passed during New York.
Okay.
and if you pass it, you don't get improvement.
Correct. If you fail it, then you roll 1d10.
1d2, got it. Okay.
And while you guys are making those checks, cover a couple of things. Saul Bomber, over the last month,
2 points.
has been working with Mr. Hilton Adams and with the police investigations into the Juju house after several weeks of legal battles. Hilton Adams is being released today.
Excellent.
Oh, sweet.
I call that a win.
I think that I would like to be there when he meets back up.
Yes,
with his wife.
and Sal has telegrammed down to you, Fox, saying that the celebration is in order, inviting you all to come back up to New York to celebrate.
That's today or tomorrow?
It'll be, say, tomorrow. Easier for you.
Because our boat leaves on the 23rd.
How many wounds should I get back?
You should be fully recovered.
Okay.
Hit points wise, everybody should be at full.
So I don't have a major wound anymore. Not running around with a sword in my gut.
Yeah, you've been spending your time relaxing and reading. So what have you been reading?
The books that I can read, because I don't
So-
speak French.
Okay, so you have been, so everything but the Book of Ibon then. Okay. So, and you are doing thorough readings of these.
Yeah, I've got a month.
Okay. So, start off with the Narcotic manuscripts. Yeah, this it goes into great detail about this this great race that used to inhabit Earth in its distant past. Describes a little bit about how they would swap minds with those in the future and would assemble a library full of knowledge. It talks about a horrible disaster that wiped them out, and then another race that came from the stars to replace them. So I want to have you're going to lose a 1d8 sanity.
See, I've been rolling high today, so this will be great. Oh, yep, 8. Woo!
Oh, God.
So reading through that.
7, 8.
You will gain 7 points of Cthulhu Mythos.
Quite a bit.
And then it's quite strangely to you, you find that this text contains methods to contact these two members of these two civilizations. You notice they're quite
Really?
intricate.
Oh boy.
Which book?
So this is a Narcotic manuscripts that has these instructions of how to contact these supposedly long extinct alien civilizations. All right, so you don't have the methods in there memorized, but they are there. Moving on, so amongst the stones, this one, very weird poetry. A lot of it having to deal with ancient Egypt. A lot of it are kind of these odes to this this queen. There's no real pronouns. You're not really sure what it's talking about. That one's a D3 sand loss.
Oh, only D3. Okay.
It's a quick
Small
read, but it is
potatoes.
a little unsettling.
Yeah, lack of pronouns.
And that will get you 2 points of Cthulhu Mythos.
All right.
Then life as a god. All right, so this one, it talks about this English gentleman that joined this Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh in Egypt, and he participated in all sorts of horrific rites, human sacrifices. This book is bound in human skin. And in reading through it, you come across an interesting passage.
Its external angles were magnificent and most strange. By their hideous beauty, I was enraptured and enthralled, and I thought myself of the daylight fools who adjudged the housing of this room as mistaken. I laughed for the glory they missed. Through the twisted door to the jeweled throne of darkness, I came with all reverence and humility to gaze upon scenes of celestial majesty and rebirth. When the 6 lights were lit and the great words said, then he came in all the grace and splendors of the higher planes, and I longed to serve sever my veins so that my life might flow into his being and make part of me a god. That's special.
Ravings of a madman.
Jeez.
Right, so this one is going to be 1d6 sand loss, and you'll gain 4 points of Cthulhu Mythos.
It was cocked when it landed on a 6. I re-rolled it, and it landed on a 6.
All right, so while everybody else has been spending nice time relaxing, you have been delving into the horrific dark secrets of the earth.
I've been dancing on the roof naked.
Well, that's okay. Nobody can see you from here.
We've all done it.
So while Hauser has steadily been getting better, Frederick has slowly over the last month becoming a little more unhinged.
Yeah.
And then finally...
Were you aware that the belfry is indeed the best place to store your bats?
Yes. It's all making sense now.
And the final book that you had that you can read is Africa's Dark Sects.
Right.
So this one was written by a Nigel Blackwell. Was published in 1920.
So it's
So it's
very
kind of
new.
this mix of like a travel log and like this kind of description of these ritual practices of a variety of African cults. So it is mostly in a journal kind of format. But there's one particular passage that you come across. It describes this group of people that they found a method of carving a symbol into somebody's forehead and disemboweling them to give them eternal life.
Okay. Eternal life.
Mm-hmm. And it goes into
Seems
very
legit.
great detail about how to do this.
Mm.
among
That's the zombies.
other disturbing things. This one's gonna gain you 4 points of Cthulhu Mythos and 1d10 sand loss.
So I am at 17 Cthulhu Mythos. You said 1d10?
1d10.
1d10. Okay. Care to guess what I rolled?
Was it a 10?
Well, on a 1d10, a 0 came up, and I'm assuming that's not a number on the 1d10. So.
Oh, God.
Well, 0 is 10.
Yep.
Jeez. So you, just lost like about...
So the
20s.
universe has heard you when you're saying that you've been passing too many rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. That's a ton of sand loss for reading.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you win at Call of Cthulhu.
I told you not to read those fucking books. Should burn them. Except that I've already promised giving them back to Armitage when we're done.
I don't know if I want to read these anymore.
I think you'll have to wipe my drool off of it first.
But as someone who actually reads old manuscripts, I can tell you that most of the sanity loss you're getting is from trying to decipher appalling handwriting. That will drive you mad. That will drive you insane.
You want non-Euclidean geometry, you just look at people's handwriting.
There you go.
All right.
Well, a question for everybody. Do y'all want to go to like a celebration party in New York? It's a 4.5 hour, well, it's a 3-hour drive, 4-hour drive if we drive.
What are we celebrating?
What's his name? Got out of prison.
Hilton Adams.
Oh,
Yeah.
wunderbar.
Hilton.
That is
We
good.
managed to clear his name. However, that's a long trip, and then we got to come right back. If we take the train, it's going to be 6 hours.
Come right back for...
How's a? We're on our way to England. We've got tickets booked.
I remember, speaking of it.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. I got y'all first class.
Oh, good. A little bit more rest would be good.
Back to dear old
Octavius? Octavius, Hauser?
Yes,
Yeah?
sir.
Hauser, how are you feeling?
Oh, much better, Danka. I'm sorry I have not been myself the last few weeks, but much better. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Gracie has arrived. He's currently situating his things.
Oh.
Theo. I haven't
Goodness.
seen him in quite a while.
Where, did you put him in the North Room?
Yes.
I don't know how long he's going to stay, but I mean, we're going to all. He's going too, right?
He sounds like he's in.
Sorry to interrupt, gentlemen.
Oh, there he is.
I couldn't help but over here. If you will have me, I would very much like to join you.
Oh, please, Mr. Gracie, come on inside. Have a seat.
Oh, Theo.
How's
It's good
my
to see you.
friend? Very good to see you. How are you feeling, my friend?
Oh, a bit better. I'm so sorry. So sorry for the loss of your good friend.
We've all taken the hit from the loss of Christopher, but rest assured, from what the information your friend Chapman here has given me, we can make sure that Christopher's death will not go unheard.
Agreed.
I've called my lawyer, and we'll see what we can do about this Captain Robson fellow. He's going to look into these gentlemen from Innocent Imports that Chapman and Mitchner. That must be you, Morris, was it?
That's right, Gov.
Pleasure to meet you, and that must make you Fox. I believe we've been at a few of the same parties and never quite met each other properly.
Possibly, yes. I don't believe we've ever actually formally met.
Yes, pleasure.
Very nice to meet you. I've seen pictures in that. What's that magazine? your estate. It's very nice. Very good.
Oh, yes. Gracie Manor. Yes, thank you. You should come visit once all this is dealt with.
that'd
You
be
all
nice.
shall come visit.
I haven't been
I'm
to
sure Christopher's mother would love to meet you all.
I haven't been to New Orleans in years, but yeah,
Ah.
that would be very nice.
I
Well,
couldn't help but overhear we're traveling back into New York before the voyage.
well, it's debatable whether you all want to take that long and exhausting trip. I could just send word of congratulations and thanks. I know my lawyer will be there, but like I say, that's going to take 12 hours back and forth plus the time that we're there.
Mm.
And our boat leaves on the 23rd. Theodore, I took the liberty of booking you a room on the
Thank
cabin,
you.
first class.
Oh, much obliged. I will pay you back, of course.
Or would you prefer steerage? We could put you in steerage if you'd like.
No, first class with all of you is keep us close together. I believe it's the
Yes, we're
Best
all
course
on
of
the
action.
same level across the hall from each other.
yes.
Um,
I believe if we're dealing with the type of people it sounds like we are, it's best to stay in a group. My valet will be joining me at a later date. He's dealing with the affairs of Christopher's back in New Orleans at the moment.
Hmm.
Henry Slayton.
Henry
Oh,
Slade.
yeah.
Okay, we'll keep
Yes.
that in mind. Well, gentlemen, what do you say? Shall we book passage on a train, or take the cars, or shall we stay here?
If we go, we should go as quickly as possible. The train probably would be the best.
Well, the train's going to be slower than a car.
Oh, so yeah, the cars then. I think
right.
I'm up for a journey.
So Hauser wants to go.
I wouldn't mind though having a crack at some of those fascinating books, though, Frederick. If you're
They are
done-
very intriguing reading.
Oh, yes,
No,
I understand you needed someone who spoke French to read one of them. I can assist in that regard.
well, I speak French, but I'm thinking twice before I want to stick my face in that book.
It's just knowledge, Herr Fox.
Yeah,
Oh,
Frederick
yeah,
doesn't say.
it's
Frederick
perfectly fine.
Frederick looks way paler than he looked before after reading those books.
Oh no, I just assure it's the shirt. It's the shirt. I assure you, I'm
Nice.
fine.
Well, now, Hauser, are you going to be okay going back into Harlem?
Oh, I'm. That might not be the best place right now.
I put my hand on Hauser's shoulder, and he goes, "And it's all right, my friend. I will be with you. We'll both we can do this together."
Sehr gut. Thank you.
Well, then let me make a couple of phone calls. We'll get there as quickly as possible.
Thank
Should we? I guess we should stay over one night, but we won't stay in Harlem. We'll stay.
When's
When's the boat going?
the boat leaves on the 20?
Well, it's on the 23rd. It's the 20th now.
Oh yeah. So yeah, maybe overnight and then come straight back.
Yeah, I think it's set for tomorrow midday. Is the celebration of his return. All right, we'll arrange all of that.
You must allow me to cover the rooms in Manhattan. Then
Sure,
you pay for
that'd
the
be
boat?
nice.
yes, we'll stay at the Ritz.
All right, if you want to slum it for a while, fine. You should ask everybody about the what was the place that we stayed in South America?
Well,
Is that,
that knocking shop.
The Grand Pantaloon.
Oh
Oh.
yeah.
No, I think the Grand Pantaloon's a hotel in India, Tom. I don't know what you're.
Oh,
that's right. Yeah.
well, you know, I go on so many trips.
Where
and-
there's where the sands are absolutely timeless.
Yeah.
All right, so that all gets arranged. Well, we got about half an hour to get to the train station.
You know, I've got to say, I'm not I'm not a wistful man, but I'm looking forward to being at sea for a while.
Yeah, the sea's good for you.
There's something about the salt air. Cleans the head out. I could do with that. Too much has happened in the last few months.
I did my best to get us some centralized cabins so that there's not so much rocking.
Oh, that's a shame. I kind of like it.
But you can go stand up on the bow of the ship and.
Oh, I will. I'll spend some time on deck and regale everyone with some of my favorite sea shanties.
I'm sure the hoity-toities will enjoy those.
They won't have a choice.
All right.
Frederick, would you show me this this book that I could possibly read on the journey?
Oh, certainly. There, I've got them in my room here.
We are planning on donating these to Miskatonic University once we're done with them.
Oh, capital idea.
I wouldn't mind reading the first one on this top stack there. What's that? Life as a God?
Oh.
Yes.
Be careful, Hauser. You just recovered.
And do be careful of the one on the bottom. I think that's skin.
Oh.
That would be Life as a God.
I recall seeing that one. It's Erica's, Carlisle's.
All right. Shall we to the boat or shall we to the cars?
Yeah. Good.
All right, so in driving up, Hauser, you've started to read that book, and as I said to Frederick, it's ravings of an absolute madman. Joined this supposed Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh, started ritually sacrificing other human beings. You even come across a section where he talks about the fellow that he got the skin to bind his book with. It's not the most pleasant of reading experiences. So your sanity things will come when you've had the chance to fully read it, which is not enough time on this drive.
Yeah.
But you will at the moment get 2 points of Cthulhu Mythos for now.
Do we have reason to believe that Carlisle had this book in his possession at some point?
Yes, he had these books before he went on his expedition.
I find it disturbing that he had this book that you're describing, Hauser, and then he went to Egypt.
Yeah. This would make sense that he would be researching such things. This for the Egyptian lore. This cannot be. This
right,
must be.
But isn't there something that we found, the Street of Anubis or something, that he was looking for certain items while he was in Egypt?
Yeah, that's right.
So, was he trying to locate this cult if it still exists? That's disturbing.
Yeah, for what purposes?
Well, hopefully not just curiosity, but I'm afraid it might be something far darker. He seems to have gotten wrapped up in some pretty bizarre stuff. And then Kenya.
Well, very bizarre because it looks like they're possibly all dead.
While you're talking about this, education checks from everybody. And then Theo, with reading that book that's in French, I need you to make a French roll.
Cool, no worries.
It's called a croissant.
Extreme on education.
Okay, Hauser.
I got a 2 on education.
Regular pass on education.
Oh, I got a 7. I actually know something for once.
I'm
So-
sorry,
Very well educated.
Education.
These aren't good. Yeah, 03. You got 02.
Regular pass
All
on
right.
education, hard pass on French.
Ooh, hard pass on French. That means that you're making pretty good progress through this book. I'll get to that in a second.
Extreme pass on education. This
So-
is something from the day I was awake.
So Morris, as they're talking, you were reminded of the reminded of the day that you went to Miskatonic, and you were researching these things, and you recall from the books that you were reading that the cult of the Bloody Tongue was descended from a cult that was kicked out of Egypt, that worshipped some kind of dark pharaoh figure.
Ah, yes. I shall regale the others with this. You know, when I was recuperating and spending some time in the library. I remember reading that this cult of the Bloody Tongue was descended from some Egyptian religion called the cult of the Dark Pharaoh, or the cult of the Black Pharaoh, or something like that. So it comes as no surprise that he would go off to Egypt.
Carlisle was following some sort of trail, Egypt and then Kenya.
Yeah, but what was his motivation? That's what I don't understand. I mean,
Yeah,
if you read all the newspaper accounts about him, and he wasn't much of a scholar. He was a bit of a playboy, a bit of a
perhaps he was
good timer, gadabout.
Perhaps he was just the vehicle, and it was the woman Bonet that was seeking the information.
Yeah,
he was just the money taker.
Wasn't it suggested that he was possibly influenced by somebody?
Yes,
Yeah,
the alienist's notes do paint that particular picture.
It'll be interesting to look in this Penhew Foundation when we get to England.
Agreed. Yes.
I mean, he's a very famous archaeologist, but
No, so Penhew not only is an archaeologist, he's specifically an Egyptologist.
Egyptologist, yeah.
Like, was world-renowned Egyptologist.
And he was a fairly old man, though, when all this occurred, right?
Penhew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was picked up because of his expertise. But his career was pretty much towards the end of it, except for this opportunity to go back to Egypt, which I would jump at the chance too if I was an Egyptologist. Then again, maybe he was living in England because he was really tired of the hot sun.
And Theo, so you and your book in French, it's a selections from the Book of Ibon. And it is quite strange. It seems to be just a wide variety of topics. It's speaking of these dark gods that lurk under the earth. It talks about this great chaotic entity at the center of everything. It mentions these dark symbols. Something catches your eyes, kind of like this. In the symbol that shows up most often is kind of this inverted Ankh. So like an Egyptian Ankh, but flipped upside down.
So a normal Ankh is the symbol of life. So
right, and this one is flipped. You've not, from all your occult study, you haven't really encountered this before.
Oh, okay, awesome.
But it seems to be, this book also has these instructions of magical formulae. It's just seems to cover just a wide variety of topics.
Okay. Is there anything that would explain the formula you're talking about? Is there anything that would kind of give me an idea of why that, like, I'm not working out the other stuff that I know, like from my previous occult studies.
No, this is completely beyond.
Oh, this is new stuff. Okay.
And with
right.
with your hard French,
Yeah.
gained 4 points of Cthulhu mythos.
Oof. Okay.
And lose 2d4 sanity.
2d4. Okay.
Over the hours of this drive.
Okay. 4 Cthulhu and then 2d4. All right. 2, 3. 3 sanity. Could have been a lot worse.
All right, yeah,
Okay.
but so it's talking about these entities far older than mankind, hidden all over the world, outside of the world, and about how everything is bound by this chaotic entity at the center of the universe.
Okay, I'm going to relay this information after I've sort of read it for a moment. I'll relay this to the others of what it is, because obviously not all of them speak French.
I speak French. I said I didn't want to know.
Yeah. Well, me relaying the information to you is different from you reading it yourself.
Talking
I
to,
give you the cliff notes.
once again, it's just the ravings of some madman.
The Reader's Digest
Let us
version.
hope.
Yes. Very strange indeed.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's
similar to what you've studied, and perhaps maybe a bit of interest to you, maybe a bit concerning to you, but the formulae in here are pretty detailed. And they tend to be focused on contacting these entities.
Yeah. Don't cast any spells.
Oh, no. Contacting could be a very, very bad idea. Yeah. I'll study the formulae. Obviously, I'm gonna read them. I'm not gonna try any of the spells, but I'll study them more in depthly.
Herr Chapman, weren't you mentioning some things that the necrotic manuscript was also speaking about some sort of contacting something as well?
Yes.
I wonder if the two would cross-reference well.
It spoke of contacting civilizations that came before man.
Interesting.
Which, if you look at some of the archaeological and architectural themes across the globe, I could see. Well, it's quite possible. There are very unifying themes.
Mm.
Yes.
Wouldn't we find evidence of other civilizations? I mean, we find evidence of civilizations that are long dead now. Wouldn't there be?
Maybe we just haven't been digging enough, or in the wrong spot.
Maybe.
Just like in Peru.
Or we're not realizing that something from this previous civilization is from that period. Maybe we're thinking it's
Well, like the pyramids, maybe?
Possibly. There's no way of knowing for sure, but it's a possibility. Expect the unexpected, my friend.
It could be buried deeper and fade away into legend. Like, remember back in Peru, where we were at first scoffing at the idea of Kurosiri and dear God, look what came of that. It was not just legend.
We believe that pyramid in which the Kurosiri were there, that was at least, maybe 3,000 years old.
Yeah.
And if we're talking about before mankind, we're talking 100,000? Maybe 1 million years ago? I suppose anything they built would have just crumbled into dust by now.
Well, this book, it does speak of creatures or something from beyond the time of man. So if this book is to go anything to go by, which I'm not saying it is, then perhaps there was something here before us.
Also, they might be using sort of poetic license in their description as very old.
Of course, yes.
Could be.
Well, I've often
These books
said that
could literally just be the ramblings of a madman, obviously.
Yeah.
I've often said that if God showed Moses how the world was created, what could he actually write other than poetry? I mean, what would he have available to describe? Poetry.
Well put.
I guess we're almost there.
All right, so at this point,
All right.
you'll arrive in New York.
Right. Do you want us to play this part out, or do you want us to just say that we have a good time and congratulate everyone?
So, so quite a large party is thrown. Hilton is there. He comes and he first and foremost, he thinks Fox pretty much just comes up and gives you a hug because you're the one who sent Saul.
I'm just glad we got you out of there.
Yes, I can never repay you.
Just have a good life. You've repaid me enough. And say hi to your friends.
Yes, I've they're there. His 4 friends. See, Jackie just kind of has that kind of 1,000-yard stare.
Mhm.
He's not really focused on anybody, not really talking to anybody.
He needs what I just went through.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to go over to Jackie and say, Jackie, you need some help? I can get you some help.
The help
Here. I'm going to pull out one of my cards, write a number on it. And you drop my name, you call this person, and you can talk to them, and they should be able to help you work through some of your things. Houses have the same difficulty. We've all had some difficulty.
Yeah.
He's very good. I'll take care of any charges.
Oh, well, thanks. And he pockets the card. In her turn, Millie comes to all of you, and is just gushing with praise. She'd been fighting for so long; it just all hope seemed to be lost.
Well, now you just get back to your normal life. Forget all this horrible stuff ever happened. And we've done our best to at least clear up the neighborhood.
Yes, and she's delighted to tell you that that some of the buzz around the community is that some of the police that discovered the aftermath of the Juju house had discovered a ledger, and there were constant payments to a one WR14.
Is that Robinson?
So it's Walter Robinson of the 14th precinct. That led to some investigations, and Captain Robinson has skipped town. Nobody knows where he went.
All right.
That is excellent news to hear. Well, not that he skipped town, but that if he does turn up again, he'll be in for a bad time.
Easy pickings now.
I know a couple of bounty hunters. They usually go by the Frost Brothers. They can take care of that problem if we ever need them to.
Maybe we'll make a call to the Frost Brothers.
And also in attendance, due to their kind of involvement with you guys, is Carlton Ramsey and Jonah Kensington.
Gentlemen, nice to see you.
Yes, and Ramsey looks to Theo and he says, "It's an unfamiliar face. Are you Mr. Gracie?"
I am indeed. Pleasure to meet you, gentlemen.
Yes, I am. I'm Carlton. I was the one who contacted you. Please,
yes.
Can I just have you step aside with me for a moment?
Of course.
Okay, and he takes you aside and kind of goes over little bit about the fund, the investigation in the Carlisle expedition. Asks you if there's anybody in the event of your death you would like contacted.
I'd have to have a think of that. My family not exactly that close. My valet will be joining me once he's dealt with things back in New Orleans, but other than him, I can't really think of anyone. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay. And he writes down his office. He says, when you do, just send a letter or telegram my way and get that sorted out.
Of course.
Good luck to you. Well, that's going on. Jonah. Peanut Gallery in the chat.
Sorry.
In the meantime, Jonah pulls the rest of you kind of aside. And he says, Carlton was telling me that you're heading, you're planning on going to England?
Yep, that's the next shop.
Well, I was taking the time to organize Jackson's notes. And I came across something that might be of interest to you. Kind of in the last things that he wrote and left to me. He mentioned one Mickey Mahoney of a journal in London called The Scoop. And references to an Inspector Barrington.
Inspector Barrington of
Scotland Yard?
Yeah, Scotland Yard.
I wonder if they have precincts like they do over here.
I don't know. We don't have any English. Well, Mick? Morris?
Well, you have you have areas, police areas. They'll have you'll notice policemen have different letters and numbers on their epaulettes, and the number corresponds to the station, and the station covers a small geographical area.
So very much like a precinct, what we would call it.
Yes, yes, in all but name, yes.
But
I can't remember any of the letters and what they mean, except that SO means Sun Hill, which isn't a real place. That's in the television series The Bill.
DA, Downton Abbey.
So the Scoop, that would be the like local paper, you're saying?
Oh, it's London. There's going to be a lot of local papers.
Or, yeah.
well, I'm not sure. A journal might be a little too generous.
A tabloid.
Tabloid.
More like a tabloid.
But he mentioned some articles, some pressing things that he was looking into.
With Hoster's background in what he does the Scoop kind of run into the same sort of thing that the Zeitschrift would do? Run into sort of a cultish sort of investigations, or this just is outside his knowledge?
Well, make another education check.
I have such a high education, but I just rolled a 98.
Okay, yeah, the Scoop is not on your radar. You wouldn't know them as a major competitor of yours.
Yeah.
Would you call them Yellow Press? Are they legitimate? Are they well known? Are they fakes?
Jackson seemed to think that they have hit on a couple of important matters.
All right, good to him. Mickey Malone.
I'm not familiar with the Scoop myself, so. And as far as what he wanted with his Inspector Barrington, I don't know.
Well, we'll look into that.
Jackson
Anyway.
Elias was a smart cookie. I trust him. If he started finding tidbits of information there, I think it's worth investigating.
Yes, agreed.
He was right about all of this. He was right about Peru. He was right about, as far-fetched as the shit he comes up with, he ended up being pretty close to what was going on.
I think possibly we need to stop underestimating what exactly it is we're up against. You know, I think unfortunately Christopher highly underestimated what he was up against, and well, he paid the price for it.
Yeah.
But yes, I believe when we hear the things that we've been hearing, especially with me and Chapman reading these books and yourself, Hauser, we have to stop having our first thought being, this isn't realistic, or this couldn't happen, or this is not the way things would happen, and we instantly go into that option. I think we need to almost go the opposite way and be prepared to believe the things we're hearing and believe the things that we're reading and hearing about possibly are going to be better for it in the long run. We won't second guess ourselves, if that makes sense.
Well,
We won't spend as much time trying to fact check, I suppose.
Yeah.
the thing is that from the things that we've encountered, there's a lot of the shit that we encounter that's just nonsense. We just have to be open-minded. I think that's what you said.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, open-minded.
Yes,
yeah.
definitely.
But
being
there's still a
open-minded.
lot of silly crap out there that doesn't mean anything.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
Right.
Millie, thank you so much for having us. We're so congratulations on having your husband back to your friends. We are leaving on a ship for England shortly. So we've enjoyed the party. I've sent for extra booze. But I think that we need to get back to Boston.
Well, we should definitely be the ones thanking you.
Don't think of anything of it. It's the least that we could do.
And those of you who were involved with helping free Hilton Adams, so that'd be everybody but Theo, you can regain 1d4 points of sanity.
I need that. Thank goodness, still rolling high.
I'm higher than I started out with. That's good.
Still drastically below my original, but still getting better.
You know, I do have a question, though, for the GM. After the experience of seeing that thing in the pit, have I got any Cthulhu Mythos?
No, so actually Hauser should have 5 points because he had a bout of madness.
Okay, 5.
Forgot about that. If you have
5.
yeah, so if you have a bout of madness from seeing something, then you'll get Cthulhu Mythos, but you don't because you failed your int roll when you saw it. So you didn't have a bout of madness.
That's correct. I didn't.
And you haven't read any of these lovely books that have been laying around, so you don't have any.
All right.
And Hauser was fascinated by them back at Erica's house, so he's probably going to continue reading this just out of sheer fascination.
Yeah, maybe I
Alright,
should
so
have gotten them for you.
So that means tonight, Hauser, you can gain an additional 2 points of Cthulhu Mythos and lose 1d6 sand from that Life as a God.
Donka. Oh, crap. 4.
Octavius, you really should read these books.
4.
Fascinating reading.
It just gained 4, now I go down 4. Not fair.
I'm very tempted. I'm very tempted on reading the Book of Ebon, but
Before we head back, Theodore is going to make a phone call through to the gentleman that Fox suggested, and he's gonna.
You're gonna stick some bounty hunters on Robson?
I'm gonna stick the Frost Brothers on Captain Robson.
Like their first case ever.
We don't
Oh
know
no,
what-
I think they're pretty established at this point. What year is it now?
Oh, 1925.
25.
Oh yeah, the Frost Brothers. They're well established at
This
this.
is 11 years.
As meanwhile, all the Into the Darkness games start to.
just like Lovecraft stories.
yeah.
Elegant and beautiful way.
I got off the phone with a rather brash young man by the name of Connor, but he did say he'd take the job, and he's going to him and his brother Magnus, I believe you said, would be finding Robson for us and bringing him to justice.
Are you sure you didn't switch him around? Because Brash does not describe Connor. He's like the dullest person that I know.
But he was very abrupt.
Scary dull.
Well, he flat out asked me if I wanted Robson to be cut up into little pieces, or did we want all of him? So
Yeah, that's Connor. Yeah, that's Connor. And he'll do it too.
He said, "How many boxes did we want Robson to come home in?"
I think I'd rather have him stuck in prison forever.
Well, that's what I
Cop
said.
thrown in
So
prison.
I
Yeah.
said, if possible, I'd like you to bring him back so we can put him in the deepest, darkest hole possible.
Yes.
Sing Sing.
A hole.
Yes. Yes, you caught my.
He'll be eaten
Connection.
alive in Sing Sing. Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Yes, I'm assuming any high maximum security prison put a police officer in there. The inmates will definitely do their bit.
Yeah, bite is what that.
Yes.
All right,
All right,
so how
let's-
many
let's get
points? How many points did you lose for finishing Life as a God?
I lost 4, but I gained 4 for being the Good Samaritan. So
Evened out.
not very helpful.
Oh, yeah, so
I was-
you don't sleep terribly well as you're staying overnight in New York.
Yeah, maybe this will slow me down in reading.
Frederick, yeah, your dreams are starting to get a little strange.
I should
and
keep
you-
a dream. I should keep a dream journal, or I'll just start writing that stuff down in my journal as well.
Yeah, very, very odd. And more you find that it's hard to push that old gold mask from Peru out of the corners of your mind.
I dream of the spot that I buried it.
hmm
So we did find that one box. Have we opened the
Yes.
box?
So if you open up that lockbox,
Yeah. We did that back at my place in the Cape.
this would have been a bit ago. So you smash open that lockbox. You find various pieces of jewelry, watches.
Ah, okay.
Things that he stole off of the people that he
Mhm.
murdered.
Yeah.
No
No more
amulets
gold
with
masks.
And
dogs
and
on
some
them.
cash. Just
Okay.
That was fucking disappointing. I'm gonna buy all that for $100.
Well, I mean, this is Swiss, I think.
Yeah,
We'll keep time.
Swiss make good
Can
drops.
I appraise the stuff?
go for it.
Yeah, total monetary value of.
That is a 38, which is a standard pass.
All right. It's not that much,
$100.
really.
So basically, costume jewelry,
Not costume jewelry.
but a slight step kind of
Yeah,
between. The
it's
two.
not. It's
Okay.
not like a bunch of diamond.
Yes.
Um,
This is.
but
very-
it just seemed to be the people that they killed. They just took.
Whatever.
Right.
And actually, one of the things that you do find in the lockbox is Jackson Elias's pocket watch.
This has Jackson Elias's name on it. In fact, this looks like it possibly would be the collection of all the belongings of the people they killed.
We should
Do I
get
find
that
anything
pocket
of
watch.
Christopher's in there?
Makes sense. Yes, we should put the. What do you think? The pocket watch to the publisher
Yeah.
or the
to
lawyer?
Jonas or the lawyer? Probably Jonas.
Yes, there would be a small item that Christopher had on this person.
Was it my camera?
No.
My small.
No.
No. Are you happy for me to pick something? for
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Okay.
A small little trinket or something that he would have had on this person is in the box.
Okay.
And in the box is a bat covered in barbed wire.
Barbed wire.
It's very small.
It was shrunk. It's now a keychain.
He shakes it and it becomes big again.
Well, like monkey.
It's a grower. All right, let's get back and get on this boat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back, pack, get ready. Put extra gray shirts and jackets.
Oh, we've all
Okay.
packed. We packed 2 days ago.
You know, I could use a new gray shirt. My old gray shirt and vest got ruined.
Mm.
There's an awful lot of blood on them now.
Ah,
If
And
you
a
want to go
large
shopping, we'll
hole.
go shop. We've gone shopping in the past month. We've got whole new wardrobes and everything for the trip. Y'all need to dress like gentlemen on the trip.
Yeah.
We're going first class.
Have I changed in the past month? Been so caught up reading those books, I don't remember.
We've all changed a little bit.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
All changed in your own little ways. So you get back to make the final preparations. What are you all taking with you?
On the trip to England, we're taking pretty much a huge wardrobe, boxes and stuff. And
Yeah, I'll be
that's
taking
the way
what
people
obviously
travel.
what I
Big
brought with me.
Steamer trunk.
Mm.
Probably a steamer trunk for each of us. We're going to be there for at least a month.
yeah, I
Yeah.
pack
Even
up all
traveling.
I put my knapsack in the trunk. It takes up about half of it.
Especially if we were planning on going from England to Africa. So from England, Egypt to Africa, we're gonna, we would be packing well.
We're traveling.
Okay,
yeah.
so are you bringing all those books with you? Any weapons?
I'm
Ju-
taking that gun I bought.
Just what
Yes.
I normally would have.
I'm packing the weapons. I ain't going to wear them on the boat.
Yeah, packing the knife and the trench broom. But I would like to study one more book. I probably won't study them all, but
Keep them in your private stuff because it's going to take a week for us to cross the ocean, I think.
yeah.
At least
It'll take about 9 days.
9 days.
And I think. Do you think we should be worried about humidity with the books?
I might want to pack
I
them.
wouldn't on a first class.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
cabin, I
dead of
wouldn't be
winter, so
too
there's not
worried
much
about it.
humidity.
That's a fair point. Yeah,
We'll
but
keep
the
them
one's
wrapped,
the
I'm
one's
not-
skin. I'm not sure how.
Well, it depends. I mean, if you still need them, we can give them straight away to Miskatonic now, unless you desperately still need them in your position in this moment.
But
I would like to
skin's
Well,
just
I
leather,
have
isn't
my
it? I mean,
notes.
it's tan.
I have my
isn't it?
notes on them.
It's been around for hundreds of years. It's going to be fun.
Well, I'm
I-
just saying, I mean, is it safe for us to take these books with us?
Safe as leaving them behind, I imagine.
Well, as I assume, I would give them to the Miskatonic, as your plan was.
Well, are you done with
I mean,
them?
I'm no expert on things like that, but I think it might be something you might need to refer to.
Yeah, it's also something you can't study in just a day or two. You got to study it.
I would like to hang on personally to the Hypnotic manuscript to study that one, and that will be it.
All right, well, we'll take them with us.
We'll just keep them safe.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Let's head for that ship.
All right, so you are getting on your boat at from the White Star Line company, and it's about a 9-day voyage from here to Southampton.
Oh, yeah. It's a very safe ship. I understand they have enough lifeboats for everyone now.
No. I heard the captain bragging that this ship could never go down in the middle of the ocean.
Oh, yeah. Captain Stubing, I
That's
believe.
good. You don't want that happening again, like happened to the Olympic, the Titanic.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I was swimming.
I hear the rooms in this place are modeled after the ones that were on the Titanic.
It's very nice. Very plush.
Drier, though.
Well, thank
All
you.
right.
These are very nice rooms.
Yeah, so the first class accommodations are excellent. Great food. Once you're in international waters, they start serving drinks. And how are you all going to spend the 9 days of your voyage?
Studying the narcotic manuscript. It's very interesting.
I'm gonna join Hauser and bounce ideas off of him while he's
This makes a little
certainly
bit
not going to help.
So you two are going to go in a study of literature.
I'm going to try
Interesting
and work out my card thing. Work out why it's not quite working.
All right, Theodore. You're spending your time practicing, trying to figure out how to kind of figure out that spell that somebody was trying to show you in New Orleans, and you sit down in your cabin for a couple of hours and you still can't figure it out. It's and the more you're doing it, the more you're thinking back to the Book of Ibon, and its kind of methodology of approaching things is vastly different to this. Where this is all trying to focus, you're like trying to focus your mind and feel the energies of the universe. The Book of Ibon is far more written in a scientific and mathematical kind of manner. It's a completely different approach.
Is there any way I can try and use the method from the Book of Ibon, using it to do what I'm trying to achieve from what I learned in New Orleans?
No.
Okay.
From your brief readings, you're not sure of how to start. Because basically what you'd be doing is coming up with a spell all on your own.
Right.
And you have less than a drop in a bucket of knowledge on the subject.
All right, I'll do some more study on that on the Book of Ibon to see if I can try and work out what it is I might be doing wrong with this in regards to what's in that book. Yeah.
All right, so Theodore is studying Hauser and Frederick are studying Octavius.
Well, I was tempted to take a look at the Book of Ibon just because Theodore won't shut up about it. I think that, if I can go back and forth with him, maybe I can read bits of it and we can discuss it together, what we think.
Yeah. Yep.
We'll end up late at night reading it out loud to one another.
Oh.
And then
Two little young rich boys.
the dark forces of the Pripashads
Litera
and
mutum
Bofwakadat.
ile, Yacteris, Yactatus, et alto.
All right, and Morris, what are you up to?
Well, I think I'm going to wander the ship, and I'm going to get to know the crew. I think, as an old, experienced merchant navy man, I'm just going to chat with members of the crew and get a sense of what's going on board.
All right. Well, you crew are very delighted to meet another sailor. They quite enjoy swapping stories with you. Everything is, from what you can tell, this is a very tightly run ship. Everything seems above board. And it's nice to be on the open ocean again. That the smell, these stories, just those memories from your past, and you can regain another 1d3 sanity points as you spend your time relaxing and reminiscing in old times.
Now that I'm reading the Book of Ebon, I got an extreme on my French roll.
Okay, so with your extreme and Theodore, with what he's already been able to piece together, what we're gonna have.
Do I need to do an intelligence roll?
Well, so you are both. So Theodore, you've already gained some from an initial glimpse, but over the next 9 days, you're gonna do a more in-depth study of this. So you will get an additional 4 points of Cthulhu Mythos CO. Octavius, you're going to get 8.
Ooh.
Oh, we're even.
Yeah, because that's how much you get from the study.
Yeah.
And Fox, you're going to need to lose 2d4 sanity points.
Five points.
This is starting to make sense.
Did we get?
I know, it's fascinating,
Cthulhu
isn't it?
Mythos for being exposed to that thing in the events in the basement of the.
You
house.
only gain that Cthulhu Mythos knowledge if you had a bout of madness. The kind of that insane insight of the truth of things, experiencing that crazy kind of situation. You don't really get that sense of.
Well, that's what I know. I squeaked. I was short of that by 1 point. I squeaked through that experience with my sanity intact, and I'm quite happy about the fact. So, yes.
So you were sitting pretty with your 0 Cthulhu Mythos.
I'm the same
relaxing,
and rational member
gaining
of
sanity.
the party. Yes.
Reminiscing
That's why
on
I'm
sailors.
out just chatting with the sailors.
Poor,
Having a nice
poor
trip.
Morris.
Taking in the sea air.
He doesn't know.
And so Octavius. The bulk of this text seems to be focused on something called the Thesagua. This great being that lives under the earth. And it has multiple methods of contacting its spawn. It has some things about contacting some great horrific entity at the center of the universe, and a couple of other things that are hard to discern their purpose. But yeah, it has these various spells, or you can really think to call them.
Yeah, I'm afraid of the fact that it probably all works. If I can interject my own knowledge, this whole thing was supposedly written by a sorcerer from Hyperborea. Hyperborea, was it? And so the Sepulchre under the mountain of Omithideth in Hyperborea. And ew, like a giant frog bat thing.
And this is not all of this book. This is just selections.
Yeah.
Out of it. So there seems to be a larger text somewhere
Yeah, Theodore, do you have the strong desire to get a look at that original text? I wonder what language it's written in.
Yes, well, definitely. If we can try and get our hands on the original text, as you
Does it say perhaps in the beginning of this text, translated from by somebody into French?
All right, so what you have here is it seems to be it's a French commentary based on a Latin manuscript from the 13th century. So this is a French person transcribing their thoughts and passages from this Latin text.
Liber Ivonis.
Yep.
Right. I have a bit of Latin, but not heaps.
And what did you say, 16th century, 15th century?
13th century.
13th century.
Yes, 13th
Oof, that's
century.
old.
Is there anything in my further reading that is going to help me with my card trick?
No, there's nothing in here that relates to anything like the card trick. You know, trying to divine the future. Nothing like that. This seems to be mostly focused on contacting these entities,
which we don't.
And ways to methods to invoke their power to have an effect on the world.
Right. Okay. Yes, as you say, maybe we can try and source the original text. Perhaps there's.
Well, we are heading for Europe. We might be able to find something along the way, but
yeah.
And again, I'm not so sure that we should be fiddling around with this sort of. It sounds like
definitely.
Terrifying evil.
Definitely should not be contacting any of these entities.
We should not. You know, most of our religious backgrounds have to do with skepticism towards our own beliefs because we never get any proof of anything. Here in our hands is possible proof. The temptation to just cast a spell to see if it works is pretty high.
With your extreme, you think that there is one that seems relatively safe.
Well,
its description is vague, but it talks about summoning a fog to misdirect one's enemies.
An obscuring fog. At what cost? Does it mean that we're going to lose our freaking minds just for puffing out some clouds of fog? I'm not so sure that that's such a great idea.
That is the safest one.
Oh, so there's others
that you can find. So you find things that there is a long, lengthy ritual that talks about binding the Lord of Chaos, contacting the great children, contacting the one that slumbers, contacting the Lord of Waters.
Definitely don't do that one.
Well, once done any of these things, you end up binding yourself to that thing, whatever it is.
No, we're not. Yeah, the fog one though. That's
well.
What does the fog one entail?
It just in order to escape or to run away, you can create a fog to make it hard to find you. Sounds relatively safe.
And it's a series of gestures. And phrases.
Except does it cause your soul to go straight to hell afterwards, or
it does not say?
Does something come?
Yeah.
I'm saying it to him. I'm like,
What's
for all
the
you know,
cost,
it's like this could be like spells could be like mafiosa stuff. You're going to pay in the end.
There's a payment, yes.
So Thugua shows up and says, "Hey, you remember that little favor I did where I poofed some fog up there? Now I want you to murder 1,000 people." I didn't know.
So while you two are have been spending your time pondering these things, Hauser and Frederick, in your own little book club. Hauser, from your reading and study of this, you'll gain 7 points of Cthulhu Mythos and lose 1d8 sanity. This has already happened to Frederick, so.
I think we should contact these beings.
Well, I think it is possible. But, Keeper, what was that again? The up and down and...
Yeah, you gain 7 points of Cthulhu Mythos. And you lose 1d8 sanity.
Oh, geez. Okay, here we go. 1d8, come on. 2.
Aww.
Okay, down and then 7 up. Okay. This is quite possible, I think, Frederick. But maybe not right now. I don't know if it would be wise to.
Does it say how big they are? If we summon them on the boat, they might sink the boat.
There doesn't seem to be, but these spells don't seem to be a way to summon them. It just seems to be a way to contact them.
Interesting. It would be interesting, but I think not right now. Right now is we must focus on London and seeing where the leads go to. Maybe it will present itself in the future if we need to use this. Right now, it does not seem appropriate.
I suppose.
But I will keep reading. It's just a little bit more interesting.
Yes. Let me know when you get to the part about the... Well, they described as conical.
Right.
Let me know if you what image comes to mind.
Oh, certainly. We can cross-reference and maybe make our own notes.
Yeah, so it seems to be describing 2 separate civilizations. One seemed to be giant conical-like things that lived millions of, like, on the early stages of the Earth. And it says that a great disaster forced them all into the future. I'm not sure what that means. And then there was a race that came afterwards that then it suggests that this next group that came to inhabit the Earth, it seems that they've created humans. It hints at that very strongly.
Interesting. Well, maybe when we find out what happens, what's going on in London, we can sit down and dig a little deeper.
Right, and Octavius and Theodore, I see you're starting to...
Well, one can't help but like sort of practice the gestures without saying the words.
You can both make education checks.
Standard pass.
Standard pass.
All right, so you are going through the gestures. You think you have the gestures down pretty well, but not memorized yet. You kind of still have to look at the
right.
And looking at because it's phonetically kind of spelled out for a French speaker of how to do these of the words. So do you think you have the 2 pieces if you're looking at reference material? You think you might be able to do it?
The chant is so you're saying it's phonetically written in French, but is it the original thing Latin?
No, the original is probably in some other language, and that's why it's phonetic.
Right, and it's not. The words are not in French.
Right,
it is trying to guide you phonetically with the spelling of what it's supposed to sound like.
How did you pronounce this here, though? The apostrophe.
Does that say
and
fatang?
No.
Sounds Welsh.
Sounds like a throat disease.
Yeah.
Sounds like Dutch.
Yeah.
Dutch. Yeah.
I'm gonna sort of like look around the cabin that me and Fox are in and be like,
Well, they don't let Dutch on this boat.
I'll just be like, oh, look, this is probably one of the safer places, I guess, to
You want to
try
fall
this.
inside of the cabin?
Well, I mean, we don't know. Open a window, if I guess.
Well, maybe we should we shouldn't be doing this. You realize this?
Yes, of
Maybe
course,
we
but-
should go to the back of the boat.
Okay. Like you mean the back of the on the
The back of the boat. Yeah. The
Okay. Well, we'll go there and
poop deck.
we'll give it a go. So we'll
The
go to the
stern.
back of the boat, and I'm gonna try do that and speak the.
All right, make a power check.
Okay.
Do you want to see who does it first?
Yeah. We can if you want.
Because if you turn into a frog lizard man,
that is
I'm
a
not
pass.
going to do it.
Hauser.
All right, so with that pass,
Hauser.
you do it. You say the
I think they've gone somewhere.
you say the words. You do the gestures. You feel this great tingling surge throughout your entire body. You get really tired all of a sudden, and then both of you, this great fog just
Now,
behind the boat.
Fox.
Both of you can make sanity checks.
does it? It just happens behind the boat. It's like the ship
Yeah,
is.
it's just where he was facing. It
5.
missed, just
Boom.
goes-
I
passed.
failed.
all right.
I
1
passed.
point if you passed. 1d4 if you failed.
I'm very wary of magic.
Fox, are you there?
Yeah, don't worry. We're pulling out of it already.
All right.
It has to do with the direction you're facing. That's kind of why I thought if we
No,
did it at
good
the back
call.
of the
Good
boat.
call. Yeah.
And you see that it hovers there for like a minute and then it completely evaporates.
Interesting. Did I lose any magic points at all?
Yeah, you did. You lost 4.
4. Okay.
You gain them back 1 an hour. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how did it feel?
Interesting.
What was it like?
Well, I got it's like a tingling all over my body, like a pins and needles type situation, and then it was my entire body, and then all of a sudden the fog just the fog didn't like it didn't. I wasn't making the fog just appeared, but I could feel the power within. Very strange.
Look me in the eyes. Yeah, I still don't know if there's a soul in there or not, so I guess it's not going to...
Okay.
My turn. I figure if
Right.
you did it, I might as well do it.
Yes.
Pa, oui, maglunoff, Cthulhu, relief, Nyarlathotep.
All right, power check.
Guessing that's what it is.
Yeah, no. Yeah. We played enough Call of Cthulhu. I think you know what the spell is.
What was that, a power roll?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 53 out of 65.
Yep. So that same pins and needles feeling, your hair all stands up on end, and you get really
Oh.
tired and so you don't lose any additional sanity, because you know that as
One
from the
1,000.
realization that
2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000. How long does it last?
it lasts a minute, and then
In a minute, and it's gone. I'll look around to see if anybody saw us.
No.
Pretend like we're smoking all of a sudden. Oh my God. All right, so now we know magic's real. Never
Yeah.
we can do that again unless we really need to.
Yes. Unless we need to get out of a sticky situation like what Christopher found himself in.
We should teach the others how to do it.
Yes. Well, possibly. Let's see how Frederick and Hauser. They as you did mention that they are both mentally challenged at this moment. So let's possibly hold off before, because I do feel a bit. It did exhaust me quite a bit mentally. So I don't know about you. We might.
How long do you
Hold
think
off.
it would take to rob a bank?
Well, I mean, depends on how much planning you put. Which depends on the bank. Depends on how long the police would take to get to said bank.
But if nobody can see anybody doing anything, what am I talking about? I'm not going to rob a bank. I've got enough money. So do you.
Well, that's exactly. We don't need to rob a bank.
I don't know. I got to sit down. I got to think about this. Wow.
Maybe we should go. Let's go get ourselves a drink and something to eat. Something in our stomachs.
If that's true, is the rest of this true?
Well, yes. Let's not try contacting any the one who slumbers or the water god.
Revelation is a terrible thing there, Fox. Start thinking about all the words that was saying about how the reality is the dream of some blind idiot god in the middle of the universe.
All right.
And you feel suddenly very dizzy and very sick.
Yeah, need to get a drink.
Do I see him sort of stumble a little?
I'm not stumbling. It's just holy shit.
It goes very pale. Very pale.
Are you all right, Fox?
The implications.
Let's go and get something to drink and some food in our stomachs, and we'll meet up with the others. Come.
Yeah. So you take that jumbo shrimp. I like jumbo shrimp.
Yes.
All right, and with your shaky revelations or your nice relaxing sea vacation, you are all wake up on the 9th day. This will happen shortly after you discover your fog creating abilities. You can see the shore off in the distance. And after a couple of hours, you all dock in Southampton. And that is where we're going to leave it for tonight.
Excellent. Wow. We're becoming evil.
Yeah.
Or magical. Our players included Zane Fleming, Brian Daly, Mick Swan, Stuart Lively, and myself, with Morgan Llewellyn as keeper of the secrets. We currently produce up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. We have a new patron, Max Rosen, whose handle is Zoogflute, has pledged $3 a month to our channel. Thank you so much, Zoogflute. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 to a month helps us a lot. You can find the link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering the questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure in the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and Call of Cthulhu RPG. Until next time, good luck, good day.